Oh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Goal Setting Power Professionals with the Deb Method. Now, a little bit about Power Professionals. We started off Power Professionals so that we could get people who are in transition looking for a new career path, but that is not the only reason that you need goal setting. So goal setting is for everybody. And today we have a goal setting expert who has written her own book, Debra Eckerling. And Debra is a goal coach and project catalyst. There's her book. Thank you, Deb. And she works with individuals and small businesses to set goals and manage your products. She's the author of what we were just talking about, Your Goal Guide, a roadmap to setting, planning, and achieving your goals. The founder of Write On Online and the host of #GoalChat Twitter chat. Deb, take it away. We are so excited to get started on our goal setting today. Thank
Well,
you.
I'm thrilled to be here. This is my 6th annual LAX goal setting workshop. So you are my favorite chamber. I just said that. I was going to say don't tell anyone, but I think I just told everyone. And I just really, I love how you welcome me. And I do see some familiar faces and some new faces, which is great. And if you haven't already done so, please put your information and your LinkedIn in the chat, connect with each other and connect with me, because such an important part of goal setting is your network. And Chamber does a lot of wonderful events. I've loved watching you through the pandemic. You move things online. I said it's my 6th annual, but I've done more than 6 sessions for you, because right after I was invited in March to do Rebooting Your Goals. And goal setting is really, it's a lot of, it gets a lot of attention in January, but goal setting really is year round, because we want this life that we want, and we deserve this life that we want. And the clock, the year, it doesn't really matter. If there's a change of year is a great time to look at your goals, but if there's a change due to your own choice or circumstance, which a lot of people have had a lot of circumstance in the last year, then it's the perfect time to revisit, look at your goals, and make this plan for your future. So I am thrilled to be here today. We are going to be talking about the Deb method, and I am going to do everything I can to set you up for success, because I believe everybody deserves to be happy in some, if not all, of their life. So it's just gonna be awesome. So I'm going to go into my fun PowerPoint. It's really funny. I Earlier this week, the picture from last year came up, and you were actually the first event I did after my book came out. And it was just amazing that we have this ongoing connection year after year. And I love everybody here. You're here because you chose yourself. And yes, if it were real life, you would all get a gold star for being here today. So you're just going to have to enjoy the virtual one. So, what is your goal? Kind of already mentioned it, but it's really anything is possible, because if you have the time and you give it the energy, you can make almost anything happen. And so, is your job a new job? Is your goal a new job or career? Do you want to grow a successful business? I think we have a lot of those in here with us today. Do you want to achieve expert status? That comes a little bit hand in hand with the building the business, because you want to be highlighted as the person who does the thing you do the best. Or maybe you just want work-life balance, or it could be a combination of both. No matter what your goal is, again, it's achievable. It's probably going to look a little bit different than it did a year ago, a year and a half ago, but it doesn't mean you can't have that life that you want, your Goaltopia. And Goaltopia is achieving your goals and living that life you desire. So the main ingredient, though, to get what you want is you need to know what you want. And I think pretty much everyone here came here with the sense of, I want this, or I want that, or I think this is the right path. And it really all starts with the D, the determine your mission, because when you lay that foundation, then you can build whatever you want to create. So the DEB method, which is my system for helping people figure out what they want and how to get it, it's the DEB method. To determine your mission, explore your options, brainstorm your path. And these 3 phases are going to just help you really hone in on what you need to do to make what you want from your life happen. And so we're going to go through it today. We'll do a little bit of interaction, and I know the strategies for success is also important to you, so we'll spend a little time doing that as well. It all starts with that first step: determine your mission. Now, who here has done a mission statement for someone? You've worked at a company where you had the mission statement, right? Everybody pretty much. Now, how many of you have done a mission for yourself? Because when you are looking to achieve your goals, it's so important to have your eye on the prize to figure out, okay, I'm doing this, but I'm doing it for that reason, to help those people, etc. So, but let's back up a little bit. Determining your mission, determining Goaltopia really starts with that first step of visualizing. So when you think about the life you want, what does that look like? And usually you have, okay, I want this, but shouldn't my life look more like that? No, I don't want any of the shoulds. I want to know, when you think about that perfect life, what does that look like for you? And then the next part of the visualization is to find some way to capture it, to look at it. So if you want to have the #1 business in your area, perhaps that visualization is a Forbes list and you're #1 on top with the picture of you. Maybe you want a New York Times bestseller. So you take the New York Times bestseller list, you put your title and your name right at the top. So does anybody want to share what their visualization is?
I can share.
Okay.
I visualize working with Oprah Winfrey as her go-to guru on all things memories.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, so do you have a picture of you and Oprah like hanging out?
In my head.
Okay.
But not on a visual.
Okay. And I do a whole vision board
Right.
workshop
Yeah.
as well, which you can also, which I will put the link if anybody's interested in that as well. But really, that's perfect. Find a picture of your girl Oprah. And by the way, I have a picture of Oprah holding my book for her book club on my vision board. So I'm totally with you on that. So yes, create that and put it in a place. I'm going to give you a bunch of things that you want on what I call like your goal map, your goal. Like I picked up a piece of paper before to share, but I'm going a little bit too ahead. But if you look to the right of me, I have my goal list, my rules list, my mission, my motto, my everything, where I can see it at all times when I'm in this space. So create that. And that's the first thing you need on that very important goal map. So good for you. Love that. Okay, anybody else want to share?
I'll share. In addition to and Mary Kay having the opportunity to sell a great product to men and women, you also have an opportunity to go into leadership. And my goal is to move my business into leadership by helping others also have successful businesses and become a sales director. And believe it or not, ultimately have a pink Cadillac.
Okay, so is the pink Cadillac, is that big visual for you?
Yes, but it's not on the shorter term. What's really my goal for 2021 is to successfully accomplish those things, but really more than anything else is to replace my corporate income so that I don't have to go back to corporate America. And I don't want to do that in a pushy, greedy way, but I want to do it, and then share with others how you can accomplish your goals and be an entrepreneur. And can I just say, I'm happy that it's all women on here right now. I love it. I love to see women going for it. It's fun.
I completely agree with you. So
I'm happy to be here with all of you. I love it, love it, love it.
So your vision board, and I think there's nothing wrong with financial benefit from doing something you love.
Of course, right. It's not what's really going to motivate me, but it is something that I need.
Right. Well, I would still put that pink Cadillac up on your visual, because if that is the ultimate goal, what you're working towards, it's a reminder every day when you're working that someday that pink Cadillac is going to have you behind the driver's seat.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, anybody else really want to share the visualization, or else I'm going to go on, because we're kind of jumping ahead, backwards, forwards, and sideways, which I love, and it's perfect. Okay, we will continue, and there will be more chances to share, trust me. So once you have your visualization, you know what this ideal life looks like, and then you create a visual representation. The next step is to write your current bio. Now, most of you may have one, or you have one, but you haven't updated it in a while. Whatever the reason, just like 3 lines. And the reason, well, other than the fact that you need a bio anyway for just about everything in business in this day and age, is that the bio is helpful because it's your starting point. This is who you are, what you're doing now. And then the next step is to write your future bio. And it can be the end of the year, 3 years, 5 years. And as I said before, because of isolation and the pandemic and all these changes, your future might look a little different, but you can still achieve your goals. You want to be the helping hands, so your virtual helping hands, because you can't be in real life helping hands. You can still have that wonderful business that you are building, but it's just going to look differently. So who are you now, and who are you in the future? And the other thing that's fun about the future bio is to write it in the first person, and the sky's the limit. I'm sorry, write it in the third person, and the sky's the limit. And so you want to have your visualization and then your future bio as well. Kelly is like the most amazing LAX chamber person on the planet. And in her time at the LAX chamber, she has done X, Y, and Z. So third person accomplishments you are striving for, and they can be different, but it's that aspirational quality there's so much power in writing that down and having it like it already exists. Very, very law of attraction-y. So you have your current bio and your future bio. Now it's time to look at your mission statement. And your mission statement is just a combination of who you are and what your special skills are, what makes you unique, what you want to create, and also how it helps others. And that part of how it helps, it's so important, because that's kind of the fuel behind your mission. It's one thing when you do something for you, but another thing to do for others. So if you're building a business so you can share what you've done so others can be inspired to do the same, that's a wonderful mission. If you want to create something that helps others do something else, or entertain, or inform, or educate, whatever it is, having that passion behind it, that drive to help others, really is going to make all the difference. And I use me as an example because I happen to have a very long mission statement. And then from the mission statement, you want to write a motto. So something short, snappy, and fun that really embodies all that you're trying to create. So for example, my mission statement is to use my background, experience, and systems to help as many people as possible figure out what they want and how to get it, using so they can live the life that they want and deserve. The basics of it. But it's really, my motto is goal setting simplified. So everything that I create that helps others is under that banner of Goal Setting Simplified. So my book, my workshops, my classes, when I write blog posts and articles, my motivation, it's all about let's make the instructions as easy as possible, because you still have to do the work. You shouldn't have to squint and wonder what you're supposed to do. So that's how my mission and my motto, and I have it right here behind me at all times, it's how they work together. So does anybody want to share their mission and their motto? Okay, Mimi, please unmute and
Deb,
share.
haven't we talked before?
We talked
Had
like
a conversation. Okay.
yes.
So I've always had this mission since I started coaching people instead of keynote speaking. And it's always to help people find their voice and claim their power with their words. That excites me, it motivates me, it brings a lump to my throat. I want them to be able to do that. But now you're telling me to do a motto, which I absolutely love. I've never done that. So I'm thinking for this next year that I'm launching the online course, it's reach more people.
I love it.
Reach.
But I would keep the other one too.
Yeah.
Reach more people
to
empower
have them find
voices.
their voice.
Yeah,
to find their voice. Reach.
I love
more
it.
people. Wow, that
Yes.
is so cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and it's really, and I was saying before, so Goal Setting Simplified is my business motto, but my personal motto really is Queen of All Things Goals, which I expressed before, because, and you were talking about the power of women. If you Google goal setting experts, no women are on that list.
Oh,
so that
interesting.
mantle is waiting for me.
You betcha, baby.
So, but empowering through voice, it's so important. Whenever anybody asks me and someone asked me this in an interview, I think last month or two ago, what advice would you give your younger self? And I said, can I give the advice I give to anybody who has a kid or a teenager, is start speaking young, because it's a skill that you use. I did forensics all through college.
Me too.
So if you can speak, if you can communicate, you can do anything. So what you're doing, it's so important, especially now when people are feeling so frustrated because they have to use their voice differently. That's wonderful. So you've got your personal reach, fantastic, and help people find their voice, so important. So yes. Anybody else want to chime in? Yes, no? Okay.
I can share mine.
Okay, great.
So my mission statement is essentially really, it's a long version of helping families tell their stories through their memories. And my motto is actually my tagline, which is Picture Life Curated.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that necessarily translates, but I just love it. And that's actually where the name comes from as well, Picturely, which I mean, it has to do with pictures, but it was really an abbreviation of Picture Life and then Curated, or other things like Picture Life Organized.
Will you read me your mission one more time?
I don't have it written. I have it somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I always get my mission statement confused with my bio.
But your goal, your mission in life is to help people curate their life through pictures for memory purposes, right?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And I almost see like pictures plus memories equals happy. Which your motto is great. I think there now where people need to find their happy, and tying that in is so important. So good luck and good for you.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions about Determine Your Mission? Excellent. So you know what you want. You want this life. You want to help more people find their voice. You want to get your product, your service out into the world. But what does that look like? Well, that's where we come into E, which is explore your options. We all have, and I really want you to have a very lofty goaltopia, but there's so many different ways in which you can express that, bring it to reality. So my favorite way, and I actually use this for any kind of problem solving or decision making, is something I call directed journaling. Very simple. What you want to do is you want to schedule 3, 4, 5, 15-minute appointments with yourself. And all you're going to do is brainstorm, free write your answer to a question or a series of directed questions. So in this case, it would be, I want to impact the world. What does that mean? How am I going to do it? Should I write a book? Should I start a blog? Should I start a podcast? Oh, I want to build my business. What do I need to do? How do I find people? Where should I find people? What sort of platform? What sort of outreach? So whatever it is that you want to create, use directed journaling to hone in on what that's actually going to look like for you, for your plan. So the trick is to do this 3, 4, 5 times, but don't read them until you've completed the exercise, because what's going to happen is after you've done it, you're going to read through it and you're going to find things that surprise you. You're going to find your common themes. You may have thought one way of doing things was like perfect, and then you realize when you read through, you mentioned that like twice, but maybe there's something else that you thought was just kind of like a passing idea. You mentioned it like 10 times, that every day you did this journaling, you got really excited about it. It's sort of like, and I'll use, because this is Power Professionals, I'll use a job search example. Let's say your Goaltopia is working at a job you love where you're appreciated. Great. But that's a lot. That is a very wide umbrella. So your directed journaling would be, what do I want? Do I want a new job or do I want a new career? If I want a new job, where would it be? If I wanted a new career, what would that be? So you can list out all the different things that basically you're dumping everything that's on your head onto the page, because it's hard to figure out things in our head. But when you can look at them and be objective, it's much easier to pick out the things that are most meaningful to us, that we want to pursue, that we're excited about. So do your directed journaling and see what things grab you and find your common themes. And then within those themes, you can identify the options. So you want to be the expert in, okay, somebody throw something out. What do you want to be an expert in? Because I want to use one of you as an example, or else I will pick on somebody.
Networking.
You want to be an expert in networking? Okay, great. What does that mean to you? Do you want to write a book on networking? Do you want to do a whole bunch of masterminds? Do you want to do a podcast about networking, a video? All these things go into that brain dump document, and then you pick them up and say, okay, I want to be an expert at networking, and I think I want to create a show, but I don't know if it's going to be a podcast or a video, or maybe it's a blog. So I want some sort of online presence. Oh, but also maybe I want to teach classes on networking. That's another option. So let me see about that. And then the third is, maybe I want to just lead networking groups. So you look into your different options and say, okay, what would it take to start a podcast? What would it take to start a video series? What would it take to start a blog? Maybe that's one category of it. What kind of group would I do? What sort of platform would I need to do it on? So you would look at different things and research the possibilities. So you look to your network. I mentioned before, I'll say it again. If you haven't already done it, put your contact information, your LinkedIn in the chat and connect with everybody, including me. And be sure to save the chat as well, so you can make these connections afterwards. But reach out to your network. See who you know, who knows things about what you want to do. Do some Googling. read some books, do some research, first of all, look at your life and see what makes sense for you. See who you know who might have answers, or you also want you have connections and you have connectors. So you have certain people who know the things, and then you have other people who know the people who know the things. So see who you know who has those basis, and maybe it's you. I mean, you're the networking person, you're the networking expert who in your network can help you explore and give you more information. You do your research and then you select the destination. I want to be the expert on networking, and I'm going to do a video podcast, and that's going to get me out. That's the first thing I'm going to do to get me out in the world. You have your destination. So starts with the brain dump, cull it down to the common themes, find the options, research the possibilities, and then select that destination. Any questions? I'm not watching the chat because I'm in full screen, but are there any questions? Okay, we ready to go on? Excellent. Oh, and I should mention, Kelly mentioned my book before, as did I. The Deb Method, that's the first half of my book. So I know I'm going through this really fast, but if you really want to go through the steps, it really is a very easy, goal-setting, simplified way to figure the answer out to all these questions. So once you know, okay, I'm going to be the go-to on this, and I'm going to make it look like that. Next step is to brainstorm all your goals. And I'm talking dream goals, long-term goals, short-term goals, personal goals, professional goals. Put some easy goals in there because I want you to have wins, but everything you need to create to turn your destination into reality, to get there. So for almost anything that you're going to create, if you don't already have a website, you're going to want a website or a blog. For just about anything else, you might want a social media presence. So what does that mean? Write down all of your social media goals. And the other thing that cannot be underscored enough is personal goals, because, and I think one or two of you might have mentioned balance, but the majority of you are here for professional goals. You need your personal goals because they are going to make you happy, and they are going to give you fuel, and they're going to help you be in a better space to go for your professional goals. In the same way professional goals help personal goals, if you're happy in your professional life, your personal life is going to be better. So if you have personal goals of a healthier lifestyle, then in pursuing them, you're going to be in a better position to achieve professional success. When you're successful professionally, it's going to ease your personal life. So one of your professional goals is to earn a lot of money doing something you love. That's going to make your personal life easier. They work together, they help each other out. It's all about elevating you to the life that you want. So you have this great big list. You have your, I mean, I don't expect you've written it, but you should, like when we're done, that's like your homework. After you've done your visualization, your mission, your motto, and your groundwork, but really write everything out and then divide them into professional goals and personal goals. Then divide your professional goals into long and short-term goals, same with personal goals. And you want to categorize your list. So everything you need to do to build your website, all those website goals are here. All of the goals to build your business, all your goals for social media, outreach, everything. Or if you're looking for a job, what do you have to do to find a job? So maybe it's you decided you want to do a new career as this. So one of your batches of goals is going to be all about educating yourself on what you need to do to pursue this. Another batch will be the technicalities of what you need to do. Rewrite your resume, get your new education or certifications on there. Find either a list of companies that you want to send it out to, or recruiters or what have you. That's another batch. And then the whole getting you out there on LinkedIn. If you're looking for a job, you should definitely have LinkedIn goals as well. So what does that mean? What do you have to update to have your LinkedIn together? And then what is going to be your system for looking for work each week? So it starts with the big goals. So what is the long-term goal? What short-term goals do you need to do to get to that long-term goal? What benchmarks make up getting to the short-term goal, and what action items do you need to do to reach each benchmark? So I just said that. So it maps out this way: goal, benchmark, task, task, task. So anybody want to throw out a goal that I can benchmark and task, task, task? Okay, build a website. Sound good? We all need one, or if we don't have one, or maybe you have one that you kind of ignored. So maybe it's refresh your website. So the goal is a website that reflects my expertise and experience. And this, for you power professionals, if you're looking for a job, you also want to position yourself as an expert to be the person that they hire. So just something else to keep in mind. Goal, professional website reflecting my experience and expertise. Benchmark, the technical aspects. So the first task is figure out the hosting, figure out the URL, figure out if it's going to be a blog or a website, what platform you want to do it on. So benchmark 1, technical aspects. Benchmark 2 is the branding. What logo do you want to use? What are your colors? What is your motto? Or tagline, I guess we would call it, for your website. What are the different things that are going to embody you? And one of those tasks might be research what else is out there. So you look at other sites and see what you can bring from them see what you like about different websites and what you hate about them, so you can do more of what you like and less of what you don't like. So that's part of brand yourself. And then the third benchmark is figure out the content. So is it going to be a blog or a podcast or just mostly static site? What pages do you need? FAQs, about, contact, but beyond that, what else makes sense? And then writing them. So you put all those things together, you reach each benchmark. You put your benchmarks together, you reach each goal. Make sense? Any questions? Excellent. So personal goals, some of them you're going to be able to map out the same way, but there are also the less detailed personal goals, which I also call lifestyle goals, which are things like network more, have a healthier lifestyle, find a hobby, find more balance. So those sorts of, let's take more balance, because right now, working from home, the lines between work and life are kind of merged together. So what you would do to map this out would be like, okay, what do I need to do for more work-life balance? What are the things I need to incorporate? So you would write out that list, and rather than map it out in a more detailed plan way, it would be more about looking at your life, looking at your schedule, and introducing things on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to achieve that personal goal. So let's say your personal goal is more balance, and the number one thing you need to do is separate work from life. So what does that look like? Well, to me, that looks like a start time the beginning of the day, taking an actual lunch hour. Okay, maybe not every day, we do live in the real world, but a few days a week, have like a nice fun lunch plan, and then an end time the end of the day, and after that an end time to the end of your emails. Because again, I'm not going to tell you to stop looking at your emails at 6 o'clock. Most of you are entrepreneurs and you're going to be checking your phone till you go to bed. Maybe 8 o'clock is a good stopping point for sending emails. Maybe over the weekend you can write your emails, but you don't send them out till during the week. So look at your life and see what things like that you need to introduce into it. So start, stop, and then give yourself like a family day once a week or a half day on the weekend, something, but put these in your calendar because your calendar is going to be your BFF. If it's on the calendar, it gets done. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But you map out your personal goals and your professional goals and then prioritize. Let's say your living situation, you have to move. Well, if you have a deadline on it, then that becomes a top goal, right? And it's probably a little bit trickier to move nowadays, but you still can go through all the motions. What do I need to do to move? Where do I want to live? Maybe the research is the first benchmark. Second benchmark is find places in the area where you want to, or figure out where your ideal situation is. And the third is the actual search. So, but if you have to move, that's going to be an alpha goal. That's going to be a priority goal. But look at your other lists and what else can you do at the same time so you're moving your other projects forward. A lot of times alpha and beta goals work together. Like, for instance, you want to be positioned as this networking expert. So one is starting this video show or podcast, and the other is upping your social media. So one, as you work forward in creating this show, and at the same time, you're creating the social media aspects around them. So if you get stalled on one, you can jump to the other, and back and forth, you build them together. Another good example with alpha and beta goals is, let's say you're writing a book, you also need a book proposal. You can work on both simultaneously, and you can always jump from one to the other if you get stalled or stuck. Are there any questions? And you're looking at your shiny faces. Okay, great.
Question.
Oh, yes.
So how do you, because this is, for me, I mean, I know you're doing your a detailed thing for us to give us guidance, but even just this part is very overwhelming to me. So do you have a suggested way to break this down? Because sometimes when I'm starting something like this, my mind gets to the place to where I'm thinking I have to do all this like in the same day.
No. Okay, no.
And I know that's not what you expect. I know that's not what we're supposed to do, but my mind immediately starts going there. And then I'm like, oh God, I'm never going to get it done. So I just barely get anything done because, again, I'm feeling overwhelmed by all these things that I should be doing to set my goals.
Okay. I'm going to kind of answer your question, and then I'm going to do the set yourself up for success part, because that might answer part of it.
Okay.
And then if you still have more questions, we'll come back to it. But
okay.
Basically, tell me what your schedule is. Do you have an hour every other day to work on this?
Oh yeah, of course. And actually the beauty is that one thing that we use as a business tool is called our weekly accomplishment sheet. So you're putting in things and you can incorporate that in part of your time.
Wonderful. So I would say give yourself maybe a week to do the D, because that would probably make sense, right? Give yourself a week to do the E, or maybe 2, depending on how much you need to research. And then give yourself a week to just brain dump all your things. The idea is for it to be easy and simple, and this is what I'm going to talk about in a minute, is figure out ways to incorporate your goals into your life so they get done, because we don't want you overwhelmed. And I guess, and I really have never gotten a comment before, so I really appreciate it, because now I know I need to add that in. Because I'm giving you a lot of stuff. Like I said before, this is the first half of my book, and my book is like, it's an easy read. It's all just exercises and worksheets, and not a lot of words on each page, but it's still the first half of the book I've basically just rattled off in 30 or 40 minutes. So I totally get how this could be totally overwhelming, but just start with what makes sense for you. And I have decided 1 week on the D stuff, 1 week on the E stuff, or 2 weeks on the E stuff.
I don't think she can see you.
What?
Deb, you have about a minute left.
Oh, a minute left and then we're done, overdone?
We're just about a minute left. 2 minutes.
Okay. Set yourself up for success. Post your goals everywhere. You can't achieve your goals if you don't see your goals. So you want at least the top 3 to 5 things that you're working on your board. Embrace to-do list at the beginning of each week. Write out everything you have to do and then categorize it very much the same way you brainstorm your tasks. You also want to schedule and or track your time. So look at, it's what I just said, look at your calendar, see what makes sense and put it into your calendar. And then after you accomplish things, write what you've done and you can keep it as a log or put it into your calendar. And the other thing is to remember the 5 of 7 rule. So 5 of 7 is my shorthand for, a lot of people will say work towards your goals every day. When you have a job and passion projects, it's not always realistic, but giving yourself permission to not work every day, there's power in that as well. So you look at your schedule, see what pockets of time you have, set appointments to work towards your goals, and then keep your appointments with yourself because you need to treat them as sacred as you would an appointment with anybody else. And then also create rules and rewards. And I kind of alluded to this before. Look at your life, what makes sense. Okay, I'm going to start my day at this time, stop it at that time, take this day off once a week. So how's that for a minute of setting yourself up for success? Okay, and as I mentioned before, my book's got all this and more, and there are worksheets and case studies, but I also have a Facebook group. So if you are reading my book, please join, where you can ask questions and share your journey. And then also, this will be in the thank you email, but I made a little survey. So, and if you would take it, which I would love, you can also get on my email list, and I will send you my mission and mottos worksheet, which will put everything in one place for you. You can also email me, connect with me, and find me at the Deb Method everywhere. And this is me. And I believe I put all this in the chat as well.
Wonderful, Deb. Thank you so, so much for allowing us to get to know you better, getting to know your strategies and tasks. I hope everybody enjoyed learning a little bit more about not having to do it all in one day. I think that is probably the most important. Great question, Monica, but I think that's probably the most important thing that we learn, because we all think, I have to get this done, I have to get this done, versus thinking, I can do this in a few weeks and do it as I'm thinking of it, so that I don't get frustrated with myself and I don't stop my goal setting.
Well, exactly. It's really all about looking at your life and incorporating pockets of time. And if you have an hour a week and it's chopped up into 4 15-minute segments, it's an hour more than you would have without.
Yes, gotcha.
Well, we are right now at the 1:30 mark. So if anybody has any questions, they're welcome to ask. Otherwise, if you do have to hop off, please feel free to do so, since we are at 1:30. So I am going to say thank you to everybody right now. We really appreciate you joining us today, joining Deb, and any additional questions, feel free to ask.